theme for the day, and let's have an amazing time. So let's get into today's.
Welcome to Firebrand Nation News. Welcome to this amazing Monday. It's been a while. It's been 7 days. I have missed you, my FNN family, FNN gang. Welcome to another amazing episode with amazing panelists who are full of wisdom and very fun. So let me allow them to introduce themselves. Let's start with the lady. Introduce yourself.
Hi. My name is. Try to hold that laugh, man. Anyway, hello. My name is Antonia Ngaiwa. You can call me Firebrand Antonia. I am a counseling psychologist and I also do podcasting. Karibuni.
The one now, the podcast is Dope Radio. I almost like the what? The podcast is Dope Radio.
Yes, Dope Radio.
Yeah. You said you also give counseling sessions?
Yes, I do.
And we get you on Instagram at?
You can DM me on Instagram at ngaiwa.a.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Joshua Joe is my name. I do a couple of things. I am a content creator, voice coach, music writer. I am a preacher. I am a worshiper. I'm a singer. And
mentalist.
And a mentalist who is an instro. Yeah.
Just got so serious. Welcome to the show. Remember to use the hashtag panelist Monday on all our social media platforms. Let's hit the meme section.
Yeah, it's the meme section. The meme section.
There we go. Do we introduce it our style?
Our style?
Yeah.
All right.
Lazima.
Lazima drum rolls. Na sasa ni wakati wa meme. That's part of voice coach, so. Firebrand Antonia, unaona tuanzie pande gani ya meme?
Acha tuanze from tunatoka chini but si chini sana.
Bottom up.
Yeah, bottom up.
Ni kama watu walikubali situations zao. Motivation quotes zimereduce siku hizi. Watu walikuwa motivated enough. Ama wako like, okay, this is where I am. Might as well.
Last year ndo kulikuwa na hizo quotes. Zilikuwa mingi. Ni kama watu walikuwa
2021 is my year.
I man, but we needed them last year.
We needed them.
Last year was
to get through the panorama.
Exactly.
Alafu watu walikuwa wameishi kwa nyumba, hakuna kitu kingine wanahitaji. Ni
motivation.
Yaani, huwezi enda kaunti ingine. Curfew ndio hiyo. I mean,
like life in this shift, it's crazy how life shifts from one day to the next. Everything was normal, and then it's just like get home by 7. Who actually knew what the house looks like by 7?
Yani for a few months, CS Motaikagwe became famous from nowhere.
Even if uko unajua whoever is in charge of the Ministry of Health. That was your moment.
There was a moment ya pomoka.
We got it. You can get it.
We don't get it. Forget about it.
Let me do this meme. Ati niko na kichwa mfukoni. Niko na chwani mfukoni na mamilioni kichwani. Hebu sikia tena. Niko na chwani kwa mfuko na mamilioni kwa kichwa. Alafu anaambiwa weka kichwa kwa mfuko. I mean that response is just on another level.
Lakini mimi kweli.
Okay, kichwa kwa mfuko.
Iko millions, exactly.
Kwani zitatoka kwa kichwa je kwa mfuko.
Introduce your ideas to get money.
Yeah.
However,
anyhow,
not making it a topic.
You know this how parents take selfies. So missing my wife in Jesus' name. And then kwa comment section watu wanavaa kusema
surely
hallelujah ama what exactly? I mean
Yani kila kitu ni
On
in
that
Jesus
note, do you
name.
usually think Christians are too churchy? Okay, let me not use the word churchy.
We ain't too churchy.
No, let me let me not use the word churchy.
We be Christians. I ain't too churchy.
Let me explain. Sorry, because when I use the word churchy, it usually means something altogether. It's a different connotation. So scrap churchy. Do you think we tend to carry the Christianese very far? Everything has to have in Jesus' name. So like there's this situation that actually happened. Hapa tu, somebody came to take water in the dispenser. Akapata maji haiko. Then one of the people, one of the workmates akamwambia, leo hauna bahati. Yo, the lady was like, Mimi, I don't tegemea on bahati. Mimi, I am blessed in Jesus' name.
Mimi, I'm not a lucky person. Luck doesn't know me.
No, I
me
am
don't
blessed.
know luck. I'm
Only
blessed.
blessed know
Only
you.
blessings.
Exactly.
No luck.
Anyway, and the guy was like, sipole. Because they got conversation all
Only
together.
jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
Maybe
not.
Unajua Christianity ni kama military. Ukifanya training sana na kuchukua the military words ina stick kwa akili. So sometimes una forget to come back to the normal life. Unajipata ulienda to the extreme. It's like you're used to speak in tongues everywhere. So unaenda unapata umetegwa kidogo uko like rakata, you know, because there's some people who can't differentiate the church life or the spiritual life versus now the normal life.
You just get in a small accident and scare the devil is a liar. Just like, yo, you didn't hold the plate correctly, it fell. It's like, okay, anyway.
Now the
Next
devil
week.
is lying to you that
Yo, I know, but we don't know the comment section.
Acha tuende.
Sorry. Just
Wataka kupreempt. Mimi wase wafupi. Ati kwani wanawake wafupi hamjui kusamehe watu? Then the reply is like, msamaha iko juu. Hatufiki.
and that's on period.
I know, hatufiki.
very understandable. Mi si wa blame by the way.
Lakini we mimi nakwambia watu wafupi wakuanga na maneno na roho chafu saa zingine.
Are you speaking out of experience? Is that who you
Wait,
are?
how old are you? Tuanzie hapo ama tu you're excluded just
It
wanawake.
depends with your definition of tall.
Okay. Mimi muuliza tu how tall are you?
Tall inaanzia wapi? Tall inaanzia wapi? Is it a 5'1"? Is it a 4'8"? Is it a
So see absolute.
5'7"? Say absolute.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really nice. That's a nice argument. Eh?
I know.
It's not absolute. Really.
Okay.
Really.
Yeah.
But actually, what height are you so that you're regarded to be a tall person?
Exactly.
Just to
And then we
Sasa
need to
to someone
and then
else
we-
you're tall.
Yeah, to someone else
Let's just put
you're
it
tall.
on.
And then you see when you talk about how tall and like where tallness begin, depends with the country. There's someone who regards themselves as tall people in Kenya. They go to the United States and they are the shortest, and people will be like, "Look how short you are." So I think it just depends.
So you're saying it's
Do I look
societal?
like I'm? Yeah, it is. Am I justifying myself?
But that would be a really
Now that
good
you've
argument.
noticed-
It's a good
That would be a
argument.
really good
Yeah.
argument. Because how exactly is light? How you know what's the spectrum of being light? What's the
Exactly.
spectrum
We can,
of
when
of
it
being
comes
tall?
to color, we actually can do that.
Can we?
You know, because there are shades of color.
But no, because they're still like in the brown color range. They're
Right.
still like, I don't know, a couple.
Exactly.
But still, you don't still get the foundation of your color. Times you have to mix.
Yeah.
Still,
No.
there is your color,
No.
there is someone else's
It's just
color,
a
there's someone
Eurocentric
who's
thing.
darker.
I feel it's just a
So how do you define dark?
because the reason why we
Dark.
have because the reason why we have makeup now, Kenyan made, African made makeup. What's the black owned makeup people? It's because everything was Eurocentric. So all of us are running towards foundation ya mzungu. So I know. Anyway, but the short part.
Not
Yeah.
my
Culture,
area
yeah.
of expertise. So
Yeah.
I used to changia in that conversation.
I hold it down.
Anyway,
Do you have a final meme?
yes.
Uh-huh.
And it says, lessons November has taught me.
Number one.
Misipangwingwi. Usiogope kula jasho lako. And 3, if the money you have cannot solve your problems,
eat that money. I love that.
These thoughts do not represent me. It's just a meme section.
These are someone else's
Yeah,
lessons.
right.
Lakini hapo hatupangwingwi. Mjua hatupangwingwi.
Oh, that's facts. Hapo kwa kupangwa.
Sisi hatupangwingwi.
Number 2, usiogope kula jasho lako.
Yeah.
No, but 3 is also good. I mean, if your money cannot solve your problem.
So
if you're eating it, it's solving hunger, Ama.
Oh, technically.
It's not solving hunger. Technically, uko na food, lakini sasa juu hiyo pesa haitoshi kulipa rent.
Okay.
In other words, piga sherehe na hiyo pesa.
Speaking of sherehe, let's speak on that. Among the narratives, not really the narratives, among the memorandum, the things that our politicians are usually very interesting people. I like how they just think of, it's usually like marketing. That's the right word, marketing, because you have to market your skills, you have to market what you're bringing to the table so that we can vote for you. So we have this thing of, one of the stakeholders has said the youth will get 6,000 per month. So what do you guys think? Kwa sababu jana kuna mtu aliniambia hiyo 6,000 ni sherehe ya siku moja. So what's the criteria behind it? Do you think it will really work? Speaking of let's speak on that point. What do you guys think?
So I'm getting the
Well,
youth
to
are
sit-
getting their 6,000.
Because you see,
Hata kama
among the-
you're doing what you're doing, you're getting your money.
Because sorry to cut you short once again, because among the incentives of the BBI was the tax holidays. So now one of his, probably let me call it an incentive of us choosing him as a leader would be the youth getting 6,000 per month.
What's the intention behind the 6,000? As in inafaa ifanye nini, ama that's for us to decide. So he's just giving the youth 6,000 bob. I mean, if you're looking, okay, let me be wise, yeah? We're looking for long-term solutions for problems that we have. I mean, they say money solves all problems, but 6,000 is cannot pay your rent. I mean, it could, depending on where you're living, but let's just speak practically. 6,000 might make sense to someone, but you're looking for long-term situations. Yes, ukipewa tao yako sita, you might start your own business. Could be, but I feel like I still do not know the intention of giving the 6,000, but at the same time, if it is to solve a problem of unemployment or just being able to sustain yourself, I feel like it's really not practical. Okay, I don't know, but depending on whoever is receiving the money, it's just a nini of things. So, kuna mtu akipa hiyo 1,000.
Depending on where you live.
Yeah, you can start a business. It could be a boost up to something that you want to do. Kuna mtu mwingine, like you said, your 1,000 is a day sherehe, and could be okay, nimepewa tao yangu sita. So what is the intention really in giving this money? I mean, if I were to understand that, then maybe. But if it's to solve probably unemployment, and that would be like a little money to just upkeep, I still think it's not a long-term solution to a problem that has been ongoing throughout. Yeah.
Okay, I digressed. Among the topic of today, there was a banner in Cooperative University. So basically, the banner was hung on the type of dressing that women should be dressing. So it was titled "Dress How to Be Addressed." So the banner, which was erected at the university premises, insinuated that incident dressing was a recipe for rape and sexual harassment. It further went ahead to encourage lady students to dress decently to avoid becoming the victims of the two vices, so rape and sexual harassment. Dress how you want to be addressed. A woman should always dress to be remembered, not simply to be noticed. Indecent dressing leads to sexual harassment and rape, reads the message on the banner. And if we come to Nairobi, there's a certain church that also has a banner of what to put on and what not to put on. But at least that one is 50-50 because it hits both the guys and the ladies. So are we basically, what's the right question? Are we basically saying that, are we making rape, are we attaching it to how people are dressing? So the rapist does not have anything psychologically wrong, or then they should not take the full responsibility because you surprisingly triggered this action to happen to you. Let me start your Joshua, because you basically have a lot to say.
It's a tricky one. But I think when it comes to rape, it's not more of the dressing, it's about more of the values and the virtues of a society.
Right.
And that doesn't exclude modest dressing. But the question would be, what is modest dressing? To begin with, yeah. What is modesty? A rapist will rape even when you're putting on a trouser, or when you're putting on a long dress, or whatever you're putting on, because it's something that has been grilled in their mind. See, when it comes to the university, I think in the modern world, it can be looked into from different angles.
Okay.
From one angle, it's actually good because they are literally promoting the right values in the school, in the institution. So which I think the wrong word that they used is, when you dress this way, you will promote, rather increase the chances of rape. I think that connotation is the only wrong thing that I would say they did. But encouraging people to dress modestly, that's okay. Because there is one of the universities where you cannot go into that university if you've not dressed officially, if you don't have the official wear.
Right.
You cannot go. And that's the standard. Whether you're a worker or just a visitor, you have to be officially dressed. So I think it's just a way of their values and the way they want to build and shape the society that they want to. So the only thing, again, I'll repeat, is a way of saying when you dress this way, you increase the chances.
That was the only thing that was wrong.
Yeah, for me, I think they would have put it maybe more better.
And I feel like this statement, it's usually used so many times that it's because when someone probably has been raped, or people have heard of someone who's been raped, and there will always be someone who will say, or people, that it's because of how the person was dressed. So why don't we just take a dive into the mind of a rapist and probably understand, did you rape the girl or the woman because of how they were dressed? And to understand, okay, so that is probably your motivation. Let it not come from someone who really do not know. And aside from that, there is a way to package a message, like the Firebrand Joshua said. There's a way to package a message. If you want people to dress modestly, let's not. It's like we are enabling the rapists, when we put such statements out there. So they would just go to women kwa sababu someone is dressed that way. And when speaking of modesty, I'm not trying to justify people dressing skimpily, let me use the word, but modest. There's someone who wears something short and they're comfortable in it and they do not feel that it's inappropriate, to someone. When amevaa hivyo, they feel like, okay, this is a good, according to me, I'm dressed nicely. But to someone else, this is not what I would actually go for. But let's not disregard universal morality as well. But yeah, let's try take a dive into the mind of a rapist and also not enable rapists by using such statements. So they would just rephrase the remove the sexual, the physical assault and the rape thing, but just enforce it. Even this Strath, their students wear how they want them to wear, and I don't think they had to put such a banner to make them dress that way. And even in Daystar, if you're not dressed according to the school code, unarudishwa. So
that makes me question, what's the threshold of moral dressing? And what makes people's opinions become probably like the rule of life? Because I don't have an issue with dress codes, because all these things stem from parenting. So where do we come and where do we come and draw with everything, with the different parentings that we have? Where do we come and draw that this is morality in dressing?
I think what has been a standard is exposing yourself, your body parts, like tight or skinny jeans. There are some of the institutions, they take that as not being morally upright. Some of the people would say they would actually want you to be on long sleeves, right? Some of the institutions would take that as their moral standard, or in terms of dress code. And that is for both men and women. Yeah.
Not just one race.
Yeah, not just one race.
One gender.
So it shouldn't be a one-sided, because most of the time the other gender is the one that is on the receiving end when it comes to dressing, because probably they are the ones who will be raped. Because when you talk of rape, even men nowadays are raped.
Right.
So I think it needs to be just clear. Yeah, not just maybe probably address one side.
You brought a very good point about probably putting on tight, whatever is tight, probably revealing your body. But whatever we are saying in terms of fashion right now, it's basically an evolving of what was there. Because our parents still did miniskirts. And they still did tight trousers. But what makes it different now, and I think this is something that has been going around, because I feel like we're having a rise of people's opinions because of social media, so we tend to evolve, but there's a rise of people's opinions becoming the rule of life. And that's what I'm having an issue with. Because at least Kitambo, we used to know like the reason why you're putting on something had a reason behind it, other than raping and probably being harassed sexually and getting uncalled for attention. If you're putting on a tie, it's because that was more of official. Like you guys can be like, there's a reason for everything. Right. But right now there's we just have an issue of cancelling culture, and I feel in a way creating reasons, probably, for example, because it's women who are usually, I'm not saying guys are not in it, but women speak more about it, especially, like, for example, gender-based violence. When you dive into a mind of somebody who has undergone the violence, you tend to see, like, the woman says it's her who did something wrong. Like, she tends to carry the bigger part of the problem. And it's probably that the husband is toxic, but if the woman goes like, even when women are talking about it, hajui kuchunga bibi yake. I mean, hajui kuchunga bwana yake. like she needs to do something more. It's usually like, okay, what happened? Let me get you out of that situation. It's kwanza the first thing unaambiwa, marriage inakwanga na ups and downs, so vumilia. And then secondly, you don't know how to take care of your husband, and if you don't take care of him, somebody else will. And that's usually my problem with all these things put together. I feel like there's a standard, but we are jumbling the standards all together. I don't know if you guys agree.
And I feel like, okay, when we just dive back to Ende Kitambo, when maybe rape was there but not as rampant as now. Okay, times have changed. But our mother always anatupatianga stories of how they used to dress. They used to wear sheer tops, like you see the bra shoes. They're wearing mini skirts. And let's just use the famous example that people use. The people from Turkana and Maasai, the ladies literally just cover what needs to be covered. And I want to blame a little bit of social media because it gave people access to probably pornography and sexual immoral content that when you see that part of that woman, you associate it with what you are seeing then. And also now when it comes to people's opinions, we have now been, I don't know how to say it, but it's like tunapatiana an excuse to people's nature. Now, for instance, okay, men are visual beings. We do not disagree, right? But in them being visual beings, shouldn't they be morally upright? Shouldn't they have self-control? Shouldn't they practice discipline in themselves such that probably when you see when you look at a lady, when you look at a lady, are you sexualizing her or are you just seeing her as a lady, like a human being as you are, but of different gender? So that excusing men because they are visual beings, so others advocating you wear long sleeves and probably skirts that probably are road sweepers and stuff like that. And I will keep on repeating, I am not advocating for skimpy dressing. Yeah, of course, I feel like, I don't know if modesty is is absolute or relative, but according to me, I know my definition of modesty, but also not modest. So but then again, it's all those two tiny things trying to enable men also. I don't want also to excuse women in a way. I don't want to excuse women.
So it takes two.
But also the culture has now kind of influenced both parties to act in a certain way.
I think also just to add on that, the ladies have been looked as sexual beings for quite a long time. And when you look even to the formal sectors, when you get employed as a receptionist or as a secretary, there's a way you are maybe encouraged to dress in a way that will attract people.
Especially as a waitress.
Yeah, or as a waitress. There's a way. Why don't you have like, let's say, men secretaries or men receptionists? I understand.
I
understand. So some of these things they've been adopted even to the
working spaces.
Yeah. So everyone is like, when we get this is the way a lady should dress. Let them expose their. Some of them are told you can't wear a dress that covers the whole of your legs. You must expose you. Yani, you've said something very important. Men are visual beings, and what the employers take advantage of this because we need clients. Let them see then we will get more money.
So, because we
You
were
know.
told you have two brains, so when one brain sees, the other brain helps in the pie.
Right.
Technically.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's just a mindset
Right.
that we've put on ourselves and in the society, and we've encouraged it in one way or another. Even the fashionists, they've looked at it, realized this is the best way we can sell our this fashion.
Right.
So let's bring it in.
Right.
You know. So the moral decay, when some people are trying to build the moral values of a society, the people are taking advantage
Actually
of that.
monetizing it.
Yeah,
Right.
taking advantage of that. And you see, and that's why this thing will never end. This thing will never come
To be a
to,
cycle.
and we will never have a universal, or to answer your question, we are saying this is where we draw the line with modesty. You see, we will never have that because of different reasons. We have different cultures, different perceptions. So everyone, there are those who are taking advantage of it. You know, it's like, just to digress kidogo, these days things like the sex dolls, they are sold online, they are sold openly. You see, like,
You actually go on Amazon.
yeah, even
It
in
used to be a taboo.
even in online stores locally, you just Google and you find them, and they are cheap. You understand? Yeah, they are cheap. They are everywhere.
So we're basically looking for solutions for everything.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I think I will still take it back to that parenting. It's the parent, the way you want your child, what you think is morally upright, then introduce that to your child. Yeah. If you think nudity is your moral standard, then introduce it to your child. I mean,
And sometimes,
exactly,
you know,
because
you
that's
can
what-
dress a child as a child. You can dress a child umfikishe manguo zinafika huko chini. Like shorts for a child makes sense.
right.
And when you spoke of culture, when you go to Nini, it reminded me of someone, I don't remember who, but they said when now they went to the States, they actually feel better. They can wear biker shorts and no one would look at them like, I mean,
Right, but it
because
depends which
there,
state,
yeah, because
And-
there they wear shorts.
That's their culture.
And
Their
they
culture,
walk
sure.
like that. And it feels comfortable to them.
And the same thing she said about the Turkana people. The reason why they don't see it as a big deal is because all of us are the same. And these are we've grown knowing this is our culture. So there's nothing new. There's no way you look at someone and you're like, hey, say, you know,
Immediately happen.
and it happened.
Topic wapi.
Yeah. Sisi wote tuko sawa, we are the same. Just the same way when you come to Nairobi, and everyone, there's a way they've dressed. They are dressed. When you go to the Ushago,
Yeah.
with that even that skinny jeans, it's still a problem. Yeah, in some parts of the
Yeah.
rural.
Yeah, because actually there's one I went, we all had to look for dresses. You cannot meet people without having put on dresses. And it's probably 2 years ago, so I actually agree with that. Because we've talked about this. Why is sex made such a big thing? Because we have millions of dollars. That's why we have pornography and porn stars making, and it's an industry in itself.
Yeah.
My question would be, why is it such a big thing?
Because it is a big thing.
No, it's okay. I would never say that.
Now I feel this is me. I feel like now it is a big deal because when growing up, what was the nini thing? Do not have sex until you're married. So it wasn't held sacredly. It was held as a fear thing. That thing that do not cross that line. You know, if we were taught that, I feel okay. Sex should have been kuna venye ingekuwa packaged. That is how I think. That is the way that it should have been packaged. It should have been sold to people, and it actually makes it worthy for you to wait until you're married, or not something that yani ukiingia kwa social media, people are talking of it like, okay, it's like drinking tea or drinking water, you understand? So I feel like how
like where you go to the supermarket and get yogurt.
Exactly, like Nenda and okay, yeah, been there, and people talking about it like it should have been presented sacredly rather than ile usifanye hivi, like how it has been. Imekuwa ikiwekwa so fearfully, such that fearfully, and unajua something that you fear, you'd like, okay, let me be reserved kwa sababu how they put it. There's just a way how it had been packaged. Sasa watu wako like, okay, so this thing that they have been telling us not to do, what is it exactly? And that is what people like. Yeah.
And then you have the internet helping you out.
Yeah. Exactly.
And also when you look at I'll just give on an average, in between 1 to 10 people, you'll get to know 9 of them got to know sex not from their parents. And that's the biggest problem.
Right.
Because the first mention in life matters a lot.
True.
So where did you first hear or get to know about sex? If you heard it from friends, then you heard it in a bad way. Because
and how they presented
how they presented it,
Right.
But if you get to know about sex from the parents, from the one, and they present it in a way that it is sacred, as you're saying it. I like how the Bible puts it. The Bible will always say, so and so knew.
Like they knew,
and they
knew each other. Anyway.
But so in such a way that a child is able to understand what exactly is sex. There are things that there are some body parts that you can't even mention before people. Some of them are not even mentioned before children, and they just create names.
Right.
Some of them start with the C word or the D word, and then so this child grows up knowing, not fully understanding these things. Then they get to school and their mind begins to be empowered with this information.
Because it's an open book.
Yeah. So the child at the end of the day begins to understand the parent hid some information, And then it's the same parent. So the first thing that the parent will do is tell the child, never have sex. And the child doesn't even understand what is sex, And the thing we tell the children about sex is the actual sex, like the penetration. But sex is more than that. You see, there is the masturbation, there is the watching pornography, there is kissing, there is all those things, So I think when we mention it from just the shallow end, then the child comes to understand that there's the deeper end of this thing. It's late. It's too late.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I
We
think
have all sort of information, especially from the internet. I feel like simply because you don't talk about something doesn't mean it's not being done.
Right.
Simply because you're protecting. And the thing is, if you're not the first teacher, if the first mention is not you as a parent, it doesn't mean that your child will not receive it from somebody. And the other person, the person who gives them that information, depending on how toxicated they are, they will impart that same information with a goal to destroy your child.
Right.
So I think that I actually agree. So do you guys think we should have sex education in school, or is it something that the parent needs to take up and filter things depending on the age of the child?
For school, I feel like they should. They should, because I remember even us being taught, especially ladies being taught of now the menses and how to kind of protect yourself when a dude comes to you weirdly, those things. Now, in terms of anatomy, even school should teach. But when it comes to now, as a parent, you now do it in terms of religion, in terms of Christianity. Kwa sababu, the reason why probably we advocate for sexual morality is biblical. It is very biblical. So why do I want my child not to? Why would I? It's instilling biblical principles to them so that ndio kuwe more sexually immoral before, not when it's in marriage it's immoral. No, so that they're not just sexually immoral. They wait until marriage. I was, when you were talking, I remember when Rev Evans was teaching us about how demonic sex outside marriage, like there's an exchange of demons when that exchange, and I remember the demonic part very much because demons, I mean. And imagine teaching your child, of course packaging it in a how a child can understand it, telling them at that moment these things about that exchange, what someone, the spirits behind what someone has and yours, that very exchange in from a childhood point of a childhood understanding point, then itafika huko mbele and they keep on understanding, wana understand more. Unaona haitakuwa inafika point sasa probably God forbid they're just over that point and now wanafika church and now this is when they get to understand even ndio kufanyika when it's sex outside of marriage, you know. So I feel like a parent should take up now the Christian teaching to it. And now the school, of course, anatomy has to be done, and also, of course, we need it. We need to understand our bodies.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think what she's saying is very important because, and also the depth, just being real,
Right.
and teaching the child what the school is not teaching, because the school will teach the as it is, you know, but now the implications, the church will not, the school will not tell you
The exchange of spirit and stuff.
the exchange of spirit. And then
because they'll give you in a secular form,
right,
and if you're not able to abstain, there's this and this way.
And then maybe not when it comes to sex, not just you see what used to happen Tambo was you'll get pregnant, you know, or you'll get the STIs or the HIV, STDs. But the world came and gave us the solution. So
It's
you
a
can
solution for everything.
you can use contraceptives.
Right.
So at the end of the day, the child, when you as a parent, you tell the child you'll get pregnant, and then you never tell them the other side of contraceptives, you know. So they'll be like, minim smart kukuliko. So at the end of the day, they'll hide and do their stuff. But I agree and concur with you when it comes to the spiritual aspect. Like as parents and as religious institutions, it's important to tackle this issue wholly.
Right.
Like give it in all perspectives, such that this child understands even using the contraceptives is not just the solution. Yes, I can be able to hide or maybe safeguard pregnancy or STIs,
But the repercussions
but
of
yes,
that,
still
right.
that's not all.
So basically, take the secular information of sex education and decipher it. So deal with it, you know, because there's this way. It's usually like two different power struggles. I think it would work better if the Christians are able to first study the information that is being given by the secular world and then decipher it. So talk about everything and then give solutions for it biblically. I think that would be a good
let me
balance.
just interject, Kidogo. I had a high school student who really had questions because in all their lives they had been taught that contraceptives are evil. You're not supposed to use them. But then they are coming to learn and understand that in a marriage setup, people are using them.
Contraceptives are being used.
Yeah, and it was that information
It
disturbed
distorted.
them. Disturbed them because the person who gave them the information didn't give them rightly. Yeah.
Right. Like when to use,
Yeah.
like if to use.
Yes.
Awesome. Let's bring the discussion to a close at this point. What would be your parting shot, Antonia?
Well, my parting shot would be, as I keep on saying. I mean, I give it from my point of view, because I do things because I am a Christian, because of the principles I get from the scripture, because of what I have been taught as a Christian and from a Christian perspective, and also what the secular world gives. Like you say, you try to understand, you look at it in a way, not being we are of it, but not being part of it. And being of it, it does not mean we disregard what it is about. So bringing Christianity as my base, as my cause, as my principles, and also not forsaking what the secular world, the world itself, is bringing in and has to offer. Yeah.
Awesome. Joshua?
My parting shot would be, let's be shrewd, learn from everything and everyone, but above all, let the Bible guide us. Let the Bible become our moral guide in everything that we do. Because in that way, we will always have a reference point every time, every season. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your honor. It's awesome doing this with you. I must mention that Cooperative University sent an apology saying that the banner was pulled down, and they said the management said that it was put up without their knowledge. So I just have to put that out as a disclaimer. My parting shot would be, simply because we want to talk about something doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So we need to create a safe space to be able to talk about, especially parenting and children. Because if you don't teach your children, the funny thing is, atafunza no limwengu. It's actually right, like the limwengu is the internet. So if you don't teach them and decipher the information from them and create an environment that they can speak to you about anything, the internet got you, and it doesn't get you in a very good way. So I feel that we need to create that safe space that our children can speak about anything. And also, when you're dealing with issues, as Antonia has said, we are of this world, but we're not in it. But it doesn't mean that simply because we live here, we need to have that information and then decipher it according to biblical principles. I think that way we'll be able to have a better way of raising greater generations. Well, thank you so much for joining me for FNN Monday edition. Remember to use the hashtag #PanThisMonday on all social media platforms. And if you're watching us on TV and you'd like to comment, send your comment to 0722-510-870. And until next Monday, love God, love others passionately. God bless.
Hi guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. If you would like to join the Firebrand Nation movement, go to our website at www.firebrandnation.com, sign up and someone will get in touch with you. Also follow us on our social media handles at Firebrand Nation on Instagram and YouTube, and Firebrand and Firebrand Nation KE on Facebook. Remember to love God and love others passionately.